Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and earlier today, Blizzard pushed a new PTR build around 8 p.m. Eastern on a Friday. With that came a handful of Warlock, changes, but a decent bit of them, basically all of them actually, were just tooltip updates. Now, there were some bug fixes that are pretty interesting and do make things a little better, quality life-wise for Affliction. Some demo stuff, which I want to look at here. Apparently, the video I put out a couple of days ago, Demo's tier is actually doing more than that. I can't seem to replicate as to, or I guess figure out as to why it was doing less in the video, but want to look at that, want to hit on the changes that were announced in today's changes, the unannounced bug slash, I guess, the bugs, whether they're fixed for AF, and go from there. If you guys want any weekly course or add-ons or anything, links to Twitch, Discord, or website up here, as well as down below, and yee. Alrighty, so when it comes to Warlock changes that were announced today, these actually aren't really changes, they're just tooltip updates. I went in the game and verified this. Malakath helped verify this as well. There are two here. Now, the first one here is to Demonology. Your spells and abilities have a chance to hit a jackpot, which is your tier set, for those that don't know, giving you a greater Dreadstalker at previously 165, now 265% effectiveness. Casting Summon Demonic Tyrant always hits a jackpot. Now, TLDR, this is the same damage that it was before. Malakath verified it and everything. It is mostly a tooltip update. Now, I will say, and we're going to look at that in a minute here as well, the video that I put out, I guess yesterday, whenever it came out, damage-wise for Demonology's tier, I don't know if it was buggy or what. I didn't have any PvP flags on me. I wasn't flagged for it, so it wasn't like cutting the bonus in half. There wasn't any bad RNG to it. I checked here and there, but the greater Dreadstalker from the tier set was doing a good bit less damage than it is now. But even thinking back to older raid testing when I pulled logs and things up, it was doing in raid testing about the same damage that it's doing, well, today, with the, tooltip fix or whatever at 265. And just to clarify, I'll go in here and find it again, actually. It was doing about 10%, give or take, like today and on dummy testing. And going back to raid testing, Sprocket Monger, I played Demonology here. My greater Dreadstalker was doing about 10%. 8.5, a little higher, a little lower. There is a bit of RNG to it, a lot of movement in this fight too. I think I died a little early. I don't remember. But in the video last night, it was doing like 5% in single target, which seemed a bit low to me, but I did it a handful of times again, like after that recording, and it was the same. So something was bugged maybe. I'm not really sure. Either way, we're going to look at that in a minute here and show y'all where it's actually sitting. The bonus is pretty decent. The second change here is to Destruction. Hitting a jackpot increases your mastery by, it was 3, now it's 1, and a modifier, mastery percent. And your spells gain maximum benefit from mastery chaotic energies for 10 seconds. So this bonus used to basically be 6%. It had like some mastery point modifiers in it and stuff. For those that don't know what it is, basically some specs gain more value from mastery. For example, if I'm playing Destro right here, I have 58% mastery. I think Destro gains like 1.65% per mastery point or whatever it is, compared to Demonology, which gains less. I know AF gains the most. Now, the bonus does indeed say 2.0 or 2%, right? For the 4-piece here. This is also a tooltip correction, just like the Demonology one was. There is no buff here to this as far as we can see anything, and Malakath has indeed confirmed this as well. And just to show you, like, for example, my mastery is 57% here is Destruction. If I change to Affliction, it'll jump to probably 90, 85, 87, give or take. And Demonology will be probably 40, something like that. AF goes to 71, a bit lower than I thought, whatever. But and Demonology is probably somewhere around, like, I don't know, 45. So different specs gain different raw amounts of mastery, like value per point. There you go. So it's more or less a tooltip correction to the nerf they made to mastery points. TLDR, nothing changed with Destro's tier set. It might still maybe potentially be over nerfed, but this change, the tooltip, does sort of confirm that it might be intended, which seems to be a very subpar tier bonus, but hey, welcome to modern day Warlock. Jokes aside though, Affliction didn't get any actual changes today to the tier set or anything, no tooltip corrections. I expected AF tier set to be buffed. I still think it'll probably buff at some point. I think they need to add some kind of modifier to the 4-piece to be like, hey, if you apply UA to a mob in single target, it increases UA by like 200%. If it's on 2 targets, maybe it's like 150. 3 targets, 100, and 4, maybe like an 80% amp damage for UAs, whatever. Something like that. Not really sure. Now, A cool thing that we found out last night, and we can try and replicate it right here, though. Try and get into combat. It might be easier said than done here, but try and get into combat here. Just open up normally, it's whatever, it's fine. I'm gonna try and proc a jackpot on. Well, try and proc a jackpot. Try and proc a jackpot. Let's try that again, which will spread unstable afflictions, and then I want a dark layer to have 2 jackpots essentially. So I have 1 UA up right now. It's highlighted by the red box around this target's frame, which is very cool. It's a script in my plate or whatever. So I'm going to try and proc a jackpot here, which will spread 3, well, I guess it'll make 4 UAs active. It'll spread 3 of them, right? And then when I dark glare, it will trigger jackpot once again. Jackpot spreads multiple UAs. What I'm trying to get at here, if it doesn't proc, is that you can actually have more than 4 UAs active. We caught it in last night's video towards the end, where there was a jackpot proc, we spread 3 or 4 UAs, and then I dark glared, and it actually spread 3 more UAs. I had, I think, 7 or 8 active at one point. Now, there is a bug with the app as well, where it's spreading UAs to mobs that are out of combat. I have T-Run, yeah, I do love a proc here at some point. Where it's spreading UAs to mobs that you're not in combat with, similar to like Destro with CDF and all that. Hopefully it'll be fixed at some point in the near future, but he knows that. As we can see here, RNG is RNG. Over a minute in combat, it seems like, and no procs, which is very exciting, but hey, welcome to Affliction. Still fishing for a proc here. Maybe we'll get it at some point. Maybe. Still trying. Well, you know what? Take my word for it. I don't care enough. It's fine. But what I really want to show y'all quality of life wise here for Affliction is that they have indeed fixed the interaction with Tormented Crescendo. Now, this talent used to say whenever you had Agony, Corruption, and UA active, whenever you cast Drain Soul or Shadow Bolt, you had a chance to give you a proc TC, a free Rapture. Now, it used to be you could drain any mob. So if I had Haunt, UA, and Agony, Corruption, and UA on this mob here, for example, like this, and then I hopped like this, and I hopped over to this mob here, hello, and drain this, it would give it, wait, I am him. I am the one. It would give me a chance to proc TC. It's only, the only way to proc TC now is to drain the mob that you have your Unstable Affliction on, like your main cast one. And that was one of the things you wanted to see with TC over the course of like PTR, is that, let's say, for example, if I cast a Dark Glare and proc a Jackpot, or I proc a Jackpot in general, can we make it so that any mob that has UA on it, maybe a UA that was spread by my tier bonus, can give TC procs, essentially returning the functionality of how it used to be? Well, the cool thing about that is that, I need to respond to him, I feel bad, is that it actually does indeed work that way. So we're going to do this, I'm going to Dark Glare, there's a UA over here, watch this, I'll put an Agony here, I'm going to drain this, watch for a proc. Bam, there it is, there's TC. Drain it again, bam, TC. So literally any mob that has UA on it, and Agony and Corruption or whatever, can give you TC procs. This is my main UA here. This is the one that I cast, right? The red border. I'm draining main UA mobs here, and they are giving TC procs. So it's a quality of life increase. It should function this way, just honestly, at like the core of the spec, because having to drain your main prio mob for Affliction, like in Multidot and M+, when you have like 10 targets, it's impossible to find. It's a pain. Hopefully, it's reverted this way after this tier is over. But for now, hey, I mean, if you proc it at AoE or whatever, and M+, or whatever, what have you, you can drain any UA mob. But besides that, if you don't proc it, you're still draining the main UA targets you have. So there's that. Let's look briefly at Demonology in combat as well. So when it comes to Demonology against tier bonus, to clarify, I am playing the same build that I played in that video 2 minutes ago. I'm not playing any extra dog talents here. I played this exact same build. They did indeed increase the tooltip at 265. It was 165. However, it's just like a tooltip correction. Nothing changed damage-wise. The video that I put out showed Demonology's like 4-piece, 2-piece, 4-piece, the greater Dreadstalker being like 5% of your overall and single target. I did it a handful of times, even like off, like in additional recordings. It was the same every time. But I did it today on stream, and it's averaging about 9 to 10%, which is what we saw previously in testing, and also what looked to be the case in raid testing. So I want to do it again here very briefly, show all the breakdown of stuff. So getting into combat here, I'm going to siphon for an imp whenever it spawns in, which is now very exciting. There we go. We're going to open up here. So we're going to cast Grimoire into a Shadow Bolt, Purple Dog, Don't cast Dreadstalkers here. Got no proc. That's no big deal. Bolt. A couple of hands, give or take. Now, one thing to drive home here, RNG is RNG. At times you'll proc a greater Dreadstalker in your Tyrant ramp, which they are not extendable by Tyrant. They just spawn and go away regardless of like Tyrant being out or not. Same duration, but sometimes you'll proc some outside Tyrant. That'll carry damage even further. Sometimes you won't. Just the nature of it, right? He's sitting at about 12.8% of my damage here. I think he has 22 hits. Now I'm pretty sure I procced an extra one. 22 hits is a pretty good bit. 11.1. Now, obviously, I mean, like, if you sort of figure that out and factor in 2 here, I think chances are very high I just proc 2 dogs here. 22 hits is a lot. I believe he melees about once every 1.1 seconds, give or take, with my haste and all that stuff. So I likely procced 1 there, give or take. This is about what I've seen over the course of average testing. Once again, RNG is RNG. They do not get any kind of baseline Tyrant extension. If he's out when you Tyrant, no extension. He does not get Tyrant's damage increase. Now, what he does get is an increase from a talent called Abyssal Dominion. It's actually a hero talent. Whenever you cast Tyrant, Tyrant is his own damage amp, and then Abyssal Dominion also increases the damage of all active demons or whatever by 20%. So we Tyrant again here. We summon one in as well. 7.3, 8, 8.5. He's chomping away. Sort of stuff in my rotation here, but no big deal. This is more what I've seen when it comes to like actual demo combat and single target, around 8% to 9%, 10% give or take. We have a solid 33 melees in here. So yeah, about 10 to 11 melees per dog roughly. So you can see, give or take, I had 1 proc outside of my Tyrant here, which seems to be about the case roughly, like 1 RPPM. But you got to keep in mind with demonology, your greater Dreadstalker is tied to summoning your demonic Tyrant. I had a proc again right here. He's climbing. You can see his hits again, 40 hits there. Whenever you cast summon demonic Tyrant, you're going to summon a greater Dreadstalker every time, right? So, you know, every minute I'm proccing my tier set. Now, obviously a positive. The downside is that Demo doesn't have any kind of like haste amp when if you hit a jackpot. It's basically all in on the Dreadstalker. But with that being said, there's still a lot of like room to try and figure out how to optimize this. There might be a world where you want to cast one-shot hand equal dance in single target because of how much it increases your Dreadstalker damage. I hand here, watch it climb. I hand, damage increase. I hand again. I think it expired, but you know, roughly damage increase, right? And it's not increasing the damage of only Dreadstalker, the greater one, whenever you hand a Gul'dan. It's causing your regular dogs to Dreadbite as well. They're my #1 source of damage right now. They're beating out my Felguard, right? So there's a lot of optimization around this bonus, but I've seen like 8 to 9, 10% being about the average, at about 1 RPPM per minute, RPPM, of a greater Dreadstalker proc. So I wanted to update that a little bit based on the video I made yesterday. And yeah, clarify for y'all a little bit. So thanks for watching, guys. It wraps it up, and hope it'll help clarify a little bit on the changes, being tool changes today, that were announced for Warlock. Like I said, the TC thing wasn't announced today. It's sort of like a bug fix, but that's nice. It's some quality of life when it comes to affliction in these multi-target cleave settings, with UA being a thing. The spreading of like 7 or 8 UAs if it procs twice is nice as well. Very RNG there. And hopefully you guys got to see a bit of a better indication, or I guess breakdown of what demonology looks like in single target with your tier set. In the end, RNG is RNG. Every spec has RNG in it with jackpots, but I think Lock is pretty decently suited this tier going into the raid. Destro and Demo are fine and plus. They're solid. We're not like ultimate meta, but BM is melting the world right now. Enhance is looking very good too. And I would assume with PTR being marked as released today, there's a lot of tuning coming pretty soon. So if you guys want any week rewards or add-ons or anything, links to Twitch, Discord, the website up here, as well as down below. And like always, a huge thank you to all my patrons for all support on Patreon, y'all. Thank you, thank you a million times. I appreciate it. If you're looking at acquiring the Warlock 11.1 PTR spreadsheet, the tier 3 failure rank or higher Patreon gets early access to that, but it does go live public for free and everything, obviously, before the patch does indeed hit, which I'm venturing to guess the patch is likely February 25th, with them marking PTR's release today. So probably getting an official patch date next Tuesday, I would guess, maybe Monday. But that would be about 2 weeks from PTR being marked as release, end of season stuff for M+ and PvP and all that. The patch is close. I'm excited for it. Hopefully y'all are too. And a lot of content coming on the line for Warlock. So at least on the channel. So thanks for watching, y'all. Catch y'all again soon on stream. Peace.